What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler and today I'm counting down my top 10 favorite sneaker pickups of 2020. But before we jump into things, I want to give a huge thank you to the sponsor of today's video, the Check app. Now if you're a sneakerhead, which I'm sure you are if you're watching this video, you've definitely had those moments of buying a sneaker from somebody and not being 100% sure if that shoe is legit. And usually what happens in that situation is you put that sneaker in a closet and you never wear it because you're afraid that the first time that you wear that shoe, you're going to step out and someone's going to be like, that's a fake sneaker, and call you out on it. But now, thankfully, you have another option, and that other option is the Check app. The Check app is an app that allows you to legit check your sneakers right from your phone. All you have to do to use the Check app is download the app by clicking the link in the description below, and then select the brand of sneakers that you're planning to check. Once you've done that, the Check app prompts you to upload some pictures of the sneakers from the side view to the back view to the insole of the shoe, just to make sure that they have all the relevant pictures that they need to guarantee that your sneaker is in fact authentic. Once you've uploaded your pictures, the Check app gets to work, and they can actually get back to you with a response as quickly as 30 minutes. The way that the Check app works is that as soon as you upload your pictures, they first have an AI system check over all the pictures for any inconsistencies. Then if there are no red flags there, the Check app actually has two different real people check over the pictures separately. Once they've verified your sneakers or actually found out that your sneakers are fake, they get back to you with a response. I actually just used the Check app to double check that this pair of Air Jordan 1 Dark Mochas was in fact authentic. I just picked it up, and even though I was pretty sure that it was legit, I just wanted to check again. I wanted to check it. Like I said, the process was really easy. I just selected what shoe I wanted checked, I uploaded some relevant pictures of the sneaker, and then they got back to me with a response verifying that the shoe was in fact authentic. Not only that, but one of my favorite features of the Check app is the feed, which shows you all the shoes that they've checked over recently, and you can see which ones were authenticated and which ones actually came through as fake. It's an awesome app, and I definitely suggest checking it out. And if you click the link in the description below and use my code SETHFOWLER, you get one free legit check. That's a free check to help you find out if that pair of Royals that you've been stashing in your closet for the last 2 years is actually legit, or if that dude from the Facebook marketplace actually sold you a fake. Not only that, but the Check app is also giving away either a free year of legit checks or $500 in sneaker cash. All you need to do to enter the giveaway is follow the Check app on Instagram, download the Check app through the link in the description, register for the app, use my code SETHFOWLER for that one free legit check, and then comment done underneath this video. So huge thank you to the Check app for sponsoring today's video, and don't forget to check them out by clicking the link in the description below and using my code SETHFOWLER. But with all of that out of the way, let's jump right into the video. At number 10, we've got the Air Jordan 4 Fire Red 2020. Now I know for a lot of people this shoe might be higher up on their list than I put it on my list, but once you see some of the shoes later on in the list, you might understand a little bit better. But with that being said, this is definitely one of the best Air Jordan 4s, if not Air Jordans, to release all year. The Fire Red 4 first debuted back in 1989, 3 years before I was born, and this is the first time that the shoe has come back in its true OG fashion. You got that nostalgic Nike Air on the back in bright red, you've got your black pull tab, you've got this smooth white leather upper, which although it's not the softest leather in the world, it still feels good on foot, and of course you've got that classic Bulls inspiration with the white, black, and red colorway. It's one of those Air Jordan 4s that's never going to go out of style because of the history that's behind it and also how good it looks. Now personally, I think the white cement 4s I prefer over the Fire Red 4s, and the reason for that is because I feel like they're just a more wearable shoe. As much as I love red, it's my favorite color, I just think that that sort of gray speckled print midsole is easier to match with than this shoe is. Now while they're both iconic sneakers, I think that the Fire Red 4s kind of takes the cake for the most famous Air Jordan 4. And it seems like every year Jordan Brand re-releases one of their OG colorways and one of their most classic silhouettes, and Jordan Brand definitely released a huge amount of these Fire Red 4s, which I think is a good thing because it gives more people the opportunity to actually rock such a classic sneaker. Definitely one for the ages, but not my favorite sneaker of the year. At number 9, we've got the Air Jordan 1 Dark Mochas. So at this point, I've already had like 2 or 3 pairs of this shoe, and that's just because I couldn't actually get my size for whatever reason, and so finally I have a size 9, and this is a pair that I do plan to rock, I just haven't laced it up yet. When this colorway first leaked, there were endless comparisons of this shoe to the Travis Scott ones, and while I can see where they get that idea because you've got the same brown suede around the heel of the sneaker, in my opinion, the Dark Mocha ones are the best new Air Jordan 1 colorway to drop this year, and possibly over the last 2 years. I know it's crazy to say, but genuinely just such an awesome sneaker. The materials on the shoe aren't incredible, it's kind of standard Air Jordan 1 leather. However, you do have the nubuck around the heel, which does that thing where when you kind of slide it one way it goes one color, and then when you swipe it back the other way it goes another color. That's kind of nice. The color blocking, in my opinion, is one of the strongest points of this shoe. You've got that sort of black toe look towards the front of the shoe, and then this kind of sail or cream white leather on the midfoot, around the top of the ankle, and on the toe. Interestingly enough, the cream white leather doesn't actually match the white tongue on the shoe. I've always wondered about that. I wonder wondered why they didn't just make this a cream color or make this classic white. I don't really know why they decided to change things up, but when you do actually lace up the shoe, you don't really notice the difference at all. I mean, there's not much else to say about this shoe. It's just a really clean Air Jordan 1, and even with the small differences like changing this color around the ankle from black to white, it's still one of the best looking Jordans to release all year. And this is definitely one of those shoes that you want to pick up as soon as possible because the price on these guys just keeps going up and up and up. At number 8, we've got the Nike Pegasus 37. I know, the shoe isn't hyped up at all, but it's really one of my most worn sneakers of the entire year. Pegasus line is one of Nike's most popular running lines. In fact, it probably is their most popular sneaker running line, and every year they make incremental improvements to the shoe. But this year in 2020, they decided to really change things up pretty dramatically and incorporate just a bunch of React foam in the midsole, which makes this shoe incredibly comfortable underfoot. Not only that, but also in the forefoot of the shoe, you've got this giant Zoom Air unit, which is incredibly comfortable underfoot. So you've got this full-length React midsole, and then you've got an Air unit inside the React towards the forefoot of the shoe. It's this incredibly comfortable experience, and it feels great when you're running. And aesthetically, it's not a bad looking shoe either. I love this colorway in particular because it kind of looks like it's fading from a black to like a tealish blue, and then you've got this neon green accent on the side. It's one of those shoes that I wouldn't wear to like a fancy event, but it's definitely one of those shoes I can get away wearing pretty much every day, whether that's to go to work, which is, well, for me, it's actually just my house, but if you were to go to the office or something like that, or to go to the gym, or both. And as far as actual running is concerned, the Pegasus line is one of the most solid running sneaker lines you can go with, and the Pegasus 37 is a welcome improvement over the 36. For years, I've considered the Ultra Boost the most comfortable lifestyle sneaker I've ever worn, and while I guess, yeah, that's still the case, this is a close second. I mean, for me, the Pegasus 37 is just an incredible shoe, and I'll continue to wear it and probably grab the 38 whenever it comes out. Coming in at number 7, we've got the Adidas Pharrell Human Race NMD Sesame Sand promo sample. At first glance, you might be like, that's just a standard Pharrell Human Race NMD. Yeah, it was somewhat limited, but that's really it. Well, what makes this shoe special for me is that Adidas actually sent it to me, and it's a promo sample. And as a sneaker collector, getting a sample directly from a brand is just like such a huge thing. Now, a little bit of a humble brag, Adidas did actually send me a couple pairs of promo samples of Pharrell Human Race NMDs. In fact, they just sent me the Auburn pair like 2 days ago. And while promo samples differ from production samples because they're more for promotional purposes and not so much for development purposes, it is still a sample shoe, and it's so cool that Adidas sends over samples. Like, I still can't believe it. So the reason I went with the Sesame Sand colorway over the other promo samples that Adidas has sent over the last couple months is because I just feel like this is the best Pharrell colorway to ever release. I love the way that this shoe looks. I think the sort of callback to the original NMD with the red plug towards the front of the shoe is such a nice touch, and this Sesame Sand colorway and sort of this off-white cream color is just so clean. And a really subtle detail which you might not have noticed is that they've actually colored the Boost a slightly off-white color, and you can tell from the bottom of the sneaker, which comes in true white, and it seems like such an unnecessary change. Like, why would they actually paint the Boost? Why would they go that extra mile? But it makes such a big difference, and it's one of those things you might never notice unless you actually have the shoe in hand. Unfortunately, because the shoe is a sample, I'll just never feel right wearing it, so it's kind of just sitting up on a shelf in my office as like a display piece. I actually tried to grab a pair of these when they dropped so that I could actually have a pair to wear, but I wasn't lucky. I might pick up a pair for resale. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but it's an awesome shoe all around, and I feel like Adidas and Pharrell are finally hitting their stride once again with these sneakers, and I'm really excited to see what they come out with next. At number 6, we've got the OffWhite Air Jordan 5s. This shoe was a surprise even to me. I didn't think this shoe would be anywhere on the list, and it ended up being one of my most worn sneakers of the entire year. This shoe is actually one of the only shoes that I ever got to wear on a trip this year before all the coronavirus stuff happened. I wore this to Portugal when I was developing my own shoe, and I have some great memories in this sneaker. Some of you guys might know that I'm a huge Virgil Abloh fan, and so anything that he drops, I'm usually relatively interested in. And at first, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I wasn't in love with this shoe. I just didn't like this sort of dark gray plastic mesh that covered the entire upper of the sneaker. I felt like it was a little cheap feeling. And while I still don't totally love this material, I would have preferred that the shoe came in like a nubuck or a suede or even a leather for that matter. It definitely gives the sneaker a unique look and gives it its deconstructed look that Off-White sneakers are known for. A lot of you guys might remember this shoe as the one that Virgil Abloh cut holes out of the side of, which is one of the most unique things I've ever seen done to a pair of sneakers by a designer. But hey, you know what? That's why he's where he is, because he's unique, he's different, and he takes weird risks, which sometimes work out and sometimes come across a little odd. But the reason this shoe is so high on my list is because it's such an easy sneaker to wear. It's surprisingly comfortable. In fact, I think it's actually more comfortable than standard 5s, and that's because they actually got rid of a lot of the padding in the upper, and so I went a half size down and it fits like a glove. I love it. I don't understand why it fits so well, but I'm really into it. And it's just such a different take on the Air Jordan 5 that I can't not love it. At number 5, we've got the Bodega New Balance 997S Better Days Ahead. The naming of this shoe could not have been more appropriate because this shoe dropped right when the pandemic started and everyone's looking forward to the better days ahead. So the fact that this colorway and colorway concept was inspired by not only the ending of the Bodega New Balance 997S trilogy, but also by the fact that people are looking forward to the future and things getting better, makes this collaboration one of the most positive and interesting collaborations of 2020. As I mentioned, this shoe is the third and final Bodega New Balance 997S collaboration. It's probably not the final Bodega New Balance collaboration, but it's the final 997S that they're doing. And even though there are 3 different Bodega New Balance 997S collaborations, I can't pick a favorite. They're all really solid. Aesthetically, what I love about this colorway is that it sort of emulates a setting sun. You've got the yellows and the oranges and the purples and the tan, which I think is a sun setting over the desert. And that thought is purely based on the image on the insole of the sneaker, but I think it's one of those colorways that not only tells a story, but also looks really good together. Not only that, but the materials used on this shoe are insanely high quality. You've got really hairy suede around the toe, some more hairy suede on the medial side of the sneaker, you've got some nice meshes, you've got some more suedes, you've got some nubuck on the lateral side, which I really like. And even though there's not a lot of padding on the upper and the midsole foam isn't that soft, it's a surprisingly comfortable shoe. The collaborations that Bodega do with New Balance are, in my opinion, some of the best collaborations that have come out over the last couple years. They're always just such incredible looking sneakers, and there's never been one miss. Like, not one of the sneakers that they've dropped together has been a miss, and it's just crazy to see because not a lot of people can do that. The Bodega New Balance 997S Better Days is definitely one of my favorite collaborations of the year. Coming in at number 4, we've got the Diamond Nike SB Dunk Highs. Lovingly named the Tiffany Dunk Highs because of the Tiffany blue color used on the upper, this sneaker is a collaboration between Diamond Skateboarding and Nike SB. If you're a fan of Nike SB Dunks, you know that this shoe is a follow-up to the insanely popular Nike Diamond SB Dunk Lows, which is actually one of the most famous and most popular Nike SB Dunk Lows of all time. The high version, however, came out in 2014, and I surprisingly was able to grab a pair off Nike's website, except in a size 10 and not a size 9. I don't know if you guys remember Nike.com back in like the early 2010s, but that website was trash, and the fact that I was able to get anything off that website was a miracle. I mean, seriously, it was harder than sneakers. You guys would not believe how bad it was. I actually ended up selling the size 10 a couple days after I got it in the mail. I think I sold it for like $350 at the time, and now in 2020, 6 years later, I finally have a pair in my size. Older Nike SB Dunk Highs don't have the nicest leather. It's definitely kind of stiff and relatively uncomfortable, but the shoe looks so incredible that you're kind of willing to deal with the pain on your toes. I mean, it sucks, but the shoe looks great, so. Visually, I love the way that the black faux crocodile leather contrasts the Tiffany blue upper. I love the metallic silver Nike swoosh, and of course, I love that diamond logo on the tongue. That's such a nice touch. Obviously, it's Diamond's logo, so it's going to be on the shoe somewhere, but on the tongue, it just looks like it's a crowning jewel, and I think it's so dope. So far, I've only worn this shoe once, but I plan to wear this a lot more in the upcoming months, and I might actually double up my socks so that it doesn't hurt as much. At number 3, we've got the Adidas Yeezy Foam Runners. I'm sure it's no surprise to a lot of you that this shoe is so high on the list, and I know a lot of people really hate the way that this sneaker looks, and I get that, but man, this sneaker is awesome. The Yeezy Foam Runner is by far the most interesting shoe of 2020. It's such a wild departure from really anything else that we've seen, and while it kind of looks like a Croc and a sneaker and a alien something all at the same time, and while I totally understand why people think it's ugly, I also kind of think it's ugly, but for me, that's what draws me to the sneaker. For me, the uniqueness and the ugliness is what makes this shoe so interesting. It's one of those shoes that you can throw on and people will be like, "What the hell are you wearing? Why would you ever wear that?" My answer to those people is always, "Till you try it, you don't understand." If you can get past the way that this sneaker looks, you're in for a treat because this shoe is one of the most comfortable shoes that have released all year. It's crazy. The foam just doesn't make sense. It's so soft and yet so durable at the same time. I've worn this shoe probably for 50 to 100 days out of the entire year, and somehow it's barely lost any tread. It's so soft and it's so flexible, and the cushion under your foot is just mind-blowing. Like, you wouldn't think it would compress as much as it does, but it feels really great without your foot ever feeling like it's hitting the ground. It's just like this incredible soft cloud underneath your feet. I know it's kind of crazy to compare it to this, but the way that I felt in this shoe when I first put it on was the same way that I felt when I first tried on Boost. And while yes, the original colorway of the shoe and also the only colorway of the shoe that's released so far is reselling for a huge amount of money, 2020. When more colorways of the shoe come out, they retail for like $60, which is an insane price for such an awesome experience on your feet. I know I sound so stupid, but seriously, until you try the shoe on, you do not understand it. Coming in at number 2, we've got the Joe Freshgoods New Balance 992 Don't Be Mad. If it was not for the first shoe on the list, this shoe would be number 1 by far. The only reason the first shoe is so high on the list is, well, you guys will see in a second, but man, this shoe was such a close second. This year has like opened my mind to New Balance, and New Balance has quickly become my favorite sneaker brand. It's just such an excellent company, and they create such high quality shoes, and their collaborations are always on point. That's why there's 2 of them on the list, and that's also why they're so high on the list, because they're such good shoes. This Joe Freshgoods New Balance 992 collab released on All-Star Weekend, and I was lucky enough to actually have New Balance send me this pair early. So the inspiration behind this colorway is the anatomy of a heart, and I think that's such a cool inspiration, especially when it's done on this particular shoe, the 992, because all these little holes kind of look like ventricles. The shoe is a mixture of reds and purples and pinks and even lighter pinks, and then of course I had to put in the blue laces to kind of be the blue blood in the shoe. It's such an awesome look, and it just came together so well. Seriously, New Balance just uses incredibly high quality materials on shoes that are the same price as every other brand. It doesn't make sense how good the materials are on this shoe for that price. Now, to be fair, the resale of the shoe is over $1,000 at this point, but the retail price of this shoe was like $180, $190 maybe? I forget what it was. And not only that, but the 992 is an incredibly comfortable sneaker. The upper is so plush, yet still breathable. The midsole, which kind of feels stiff on the outside of the shoe, is actually really soft underneath your foot. It's an incredible sneaker, and I'm so stoked to have it. And then finally, at number 1 on the list, I know you guys all saw it coming, but the We Are Underdog SETHFOWLER Origin. So this shoe is obviously special because I designed it. It's a collaboration with Portuguese company We Are Underdogs. And not only that, but I've been blessed enough to have 4 different colorways of this shoe actually release. If you guys didn't know, this is actually the first colorway of the shoe to release. It came in blue, gray, and orange. It comes in a really nice leather with a gray nubuck. I love this sneaker so much, but the shoe that I actually ended up picking as the number 1 spot on this list was the Jason Negrito Diaz version of the shoe, which is sort of a 3-way collaboration between We Are Underdogs, myself, and Jason. In my opinion, this is the best colorway of the sneaker to release, not only because I think it looks the best, but also because it's a collaboration with an awesome designer, Jason Negrito Diaz, who totally did his thing on this sneaker and made the Origin look the best it possibly could. I actually just got a haircut in this shoe, and all the hair is kind of like sticking to the sneaker. That's disgusting. Sorry about that, guys. What I love about this black under construction colorway the most is all the different materials that Jason spec'd out for this shoe. The upper is made up of black suedes around the lace eyelets and around the mudguard of the sneaker. You've got a bright red We Are Underdogs logo that really pops on the lateral side. You've got this black plastic mesh on the toe and on the tongue. And of course, you've got this really nice yellow accent stitching, which I think really pops. And also another detail that I absolutely love is the black denim around the heel counter of the shoe. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I love the fact that my signature is on the back of the sneaker and on the insole of the shoe. I think that's super cool. So because this list was a list of my top 10 favorite sneaker pickups of the year, I obviously had to put a sneaker that I designed at the top of the list. This shoe isn't going to be anywhere on the top 10 best sneakers of 2020 list because that just wouldn't be fair. But for me, this shoe is such a personal achievement. It's one of my most proudest moments. It's just so crazy to be holding a shoe with my name on it. I can't believe it. I really can't believe it. So for that reason, the We Are Underdog SETHFOWLER Origin is number 1 on the list. And I'm just so excited for what's coming next. But that wraps up the list for today. Now, I would love to know your top pickups of 2020, so make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.